Hey guys, in this video we're going to be showing you how to cut every single board for your entire house, only pulling your tape once. If that sounds insane, be sure to watch this video all the way to the end. We got a special surprise for you at the end of this video. Okay, let's show you how to use this thing. We got our table full of scrap here. We just pile scrap on this table while we go. You set it in here like that. We got a bunch of marks on this backstop here. Every measurement you can think of. Right here we got 22.5. That's one of a common measurement that we use dozens, if not hundreds of these blocks per house. So we put our square right on this mark. And then we just run our saw right next to the square and make the cut. There you go, you have it. A 22.5 square on both ends. Didn't have to pull my tape, get my pencil out, make a mark. Just had to set my square down and we got it. So as you can see, this is basically just a super useful jig. It replaces a miter saw completely for us. We do not frame with a miter. We just cut the entire house with this thing. It's really only efficient up to about 80 or so inches. We cut jacks and studs directly off of the bunk, but anything below 80 inches, this thing crushes. I personally think it's way better than a miter saw, and it's way better than pulling a tape. If you're wondering about the time investment of making it, we do make this on every house. This thing has been used for the basement and the main floor already. We'll use it for the second story as well. But because the nature of it cuts through the back and tends to wear it out, we make it for every house. So we'll teach you guys how to make it. One time I timed myself on making this thing, including getting the table saw out of the trailer. It took me 6 minutes when I was completely done, ready to cut. What we got going here is just two studs. We got a 2x6 and a 2x4 stud, and then we have a little block on the end. So three boards, very easy. First thing you do is make sure your stud is very square. Both of these studs have to be perfectly square on this end because this block screws to them, and that's your stop. It's your stop block that just stays where it is. Second thing is you're going to rip this 2x4 stud down to 3 inches. Now I can't lift it up here because we're screwed down to these sawhorses, but this 3-inch board or 2 7/8 inch board is screwed flush with the bottom of the 2x6. So that means that when I put a board or a piece of scrap in and I set my square, it's level or flush with this, so the saw just goes right through it. As you can see, we're cutting through the back the whole time. You always want to make sure to set the saw at 1 5/8 or 1 3/4 is fine. If you have it at like 2 inches, you're gonna eventually wear this out and it can snap, but as long as you're diligent to set the saw before you start cutting 100 boards or so, it's totally fine. And like I said, we make it every job. 6 minutes of prep saves hours during the course of the project. Okay, so we'll say you got your studs screwed together. This is only sticking up 1.5 inches or less. Now you got a 3-inch block that you screw onto the end of the square studs. Everything down here has to be perfectly square and flush. That sets up every cut you're gonna make. When we put this block on, we usually pre-drill the screws in so it doesn't split. Otherwise you're wasting time having multiple attempts. We'll see you got both studs, your block set up. Now it's time to make the magic happen. Now this is where, when you build this, it's going to be custom tailored to your saw. In our case, with these DeWalt 6.5s, which is what we use for using this jig, I believe ours is 1 3/16. It's about 1 1/8 between the right side of the saw blade when I'm cutting and this guard. In a lot of saws, this is 1.5 inches. Some are slight variances in between those, but either way, you need to know that number from the right side of your saw blade, which is where that board is ending, to the left side of the guard, the left side of the plate. So that is what we're going to pull. We're going to push into the block, and we're going to make a mark at that 1.1 inches. This is very important that you get this perfect, because every time you pull your tape measure, you're going to be pulling off of where you made that mark, cut the mark, and that sets your actual measurements for the whole thing. So if you ever need to go and add a new mark to this, if you add to your cut list or don't do it all at once, you're hooking here. You're not butting into the block. You're hooking, in our case, it's 1 1/8 inches off the block. We make our mark, and that is how this thing is set up, ready to rock. When you're using this thing, just make sure to clean out this end. If you get debris or a bunch of sawdust in this end, it can actually change your measurement because you're not butting all the way into your stop block. If you guys are getting any value out of this video, be sure to subscribe, because we're doing a video about every skill it takes to frame a house and much more. Okay, now that you know how this thing works, how to use it, and how to make it, we're going to show you how we use this in our system of building homes, so that only pulling our tape once, we can cut every board on the entire level. The way we only pull our tape once and we cut the entire house, it's only enabled by the order of operations that we have. So the first thing we do is we plate out the entire house, the whole exterior, all the interior. Be sure to check out our video on how to plate, because you only have to pull your tape when you chalk lines. You don't have to pull your tape when you plate, so it's very efficient. We cut everything, and all of our scraps get piled from long to short right here. So we have this table loaded with scraps, just ready to go for the short boards. So after we plate everything, we mark everything out, window openings, door openings on the whole exterior. We get all your door sizes on the interior, everything's marked out. So with that information, you can make a cut list, which is what we do. So we usually do this on site, but sometimes you can do it at home if the weather's bad, off-site. This cut list has every board it takes to build the exterior walls. Jack heights, sills, lower cripples, with one exception. We do leave upper cripples for when we're building the wall. Even though we rip down our headers to all the exact heights, we still get a slight variance with our upper cripples that we are not comfortable batch cutting upper cripples, because they're so important for load carry. So other than upper cripples, everything is on this list. Now with a lot of houses, lower cripples especially, but also sills, you cut the same board 20, 30, 40 times, especially with lower cripples. So we go through this list and we make another list of, we have 43, 31 and a half, 20, 16 and a half, all that. We go down, and from long to short, we batch it so we can cut the entire stack at once. So that way we're just pulling the respective board length, setting it in here, cutting it, and setting it in a pile behind us. So we can cut 200 boards at once, and they're all stacked in a pile. When you're done cutting a pile, you write the measurement on top of that pile so you don't have to measure it every time. Then we go and scatter our headers around the exterior. We take the original list that we made and we grab, it says how many boards, how many lower cripples go. We grab 5 lower cripples. We grab the sills, jacks if the bunk's being cut close, and we take them to the header. So now if you have your list that says this many boards at this length going down from longest to shortest, you can take that list and all you do is hook your tape once. Going from the shortest, you make the mark, you write the number of what that mark is right next to it. And just looking at your list, you fill out this template right here one time. Sometimes I'll even write the number of boards that I'm cutting next to it. So 20 at 33 and 5/8, whatever. So then we have our list essentially transferred to the shortboard cutter, and then we just grab and go. We have stacks, and then we take them to where they don't move until they get put into the wall. So if you do it in that order, this thing really increases efficiency on the job. I believe increases quality as well, because you're checking for square. Everything's square, just like a miter saw. You don't have to follow a line, trace a line. Super awesome. Like I mentioned, this thing only cuts up to 80 inches efficiently. Currently, because of that, we call it the short board cutter. Now, for a jig that has completely changed the way we frame, there has to be a better name than short board cutter. It's the lamest name ever. So our challenge to you guys is to comment below a better name for this thing. Whichever name we like enough to actually dub this thing and use on our channel, use on our crews going forward, we have a special reward for you. So comment below.